So I'm just gonna show you how I like to bleed my brakes. This is a Suzuki sv650s 2006. People like to use many different ways to do this. I'll always be open for advice if anyone's got any advice if they think I've done anything wrong. But this is how I usually do it. It's the old school method. Well, it's the way that you'd usually do it manually, no vacuuming, nothing like that. So yeah, what you're going to need, make sure you've got some .4, and this is just a simple, you don't even need to buy this, you can make your own as long as you've got like a jar with a top on, screw that on, have a hole for a tube to go on, make sure there's tube on the other side to go on the bleed nipple, and then all you got to make sure that there's a hole in the top like here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but you need to make sure you have that or else it won't work. So make sure you've got the hole in the top. So first of all, I need to take my side cover off here, so I've got access to the reservoir. So this screw just undoes, and then you just pop this off. It's the same principle for pretty much all bikes. Yeah. And now I need a socket for that. Probably a 10. So undo that. You want to be careful with .4 because if it goes onto your paintwork, it's very corrosive to the paint and it can ruin it, so just make sure you're careful with it. Next, need a screwdriver. Just to undo the reservoir, the top here. And this will just come off like that. And then you take this off. Like I said, be careful of your paint when you take this off, that you don't drip it anywhere. Like that. You can see here that's very close. So I'm just going to position it upwards a little bit more so it doesn't drip. Okay. So I'm just going to get a cloth to put this on, and if I need to wipe up. And then next, what you want to do is get your 8mm spanner, take off this bleed nipple cap, put that on the bleed nipple, get this, push that on to the nipple. It's a bit fiddly. Right, so now I've finally got that on. Tube's on. Right, so what you want to do is open the bleed nipple now, make sure that's on secure because you don't want any more air going in the system.
When you're bleeding your brakes is just to basically get rid of the air in all the calipers and the air, like the brake line itself. So what you're looking for is air in the tube, air bubbles coming out,
this rear
and then
brake.
once you're done, it'll just be clear liquid and with no air
See
bubbles.
if you can see any air bubbles coming out of the tube. Like that, you see them air bubbles. And once you've pumped it, close it. Let go of your back brake lever, open it again. Pump the brake lever, close it. let go of the brake lever, open the nipple, pump the brake lever, close the nipple, let go of the brake lever, and keep repeating the process. Mine aren't that bad. That was lucky I just closed that off. It's good timing actually, because I'm done. But if it's bad, you just have to keep on going. It shouldn't take too long, so if you're going at it for ages, then the chances are that it's not sealed properly somewhere, or air's getting in from somewhere. So next we'll just close that. And obviously make sure if you keep doing it, you're checking this reservoir here, because that's going to slowly decrease. And if it gets right down to the bottom, then you're going to start bringing air back into the system and waste all the hard work. So yeah, so now what I'll do is just make sure there's no grit on it or anything. It's all okay and it's in the right shape. And then we'll put this back into the reservoir, just here. Because I've really not pumped it that much, I'm not going to have to fill up too much in here. So I'll just top it up a tiny bit. Just a drop. Right, and now we'll put this back on. You don't want to fill it too much. When you put this on, it can seep out the top, and then it'll go onto your paintwork and ruin it, which isn't ideal. And now we'll put this back on. Screws already in there, so we'll pop them out. Put this back on. Screw it in. Same for the other one. Yeah. Make sure that's fairly tight. Don't do these too hard though. You don't need to. And now we'll get the 10mm bolts and put the reservoir back in place. Tighten that hand tight and then get your socket. Now I'm not actually doing this down to the proper torque settings, so just be aware that you are tightening down to plastic, so you don't want to do it too tight, basically. So that's now finger tight, and I'm just pushing it down a little more. Again, that doesn't need to be really tight. And then next we'll put the side panel back on under the seat. This just slips in under here first. You see these two black prongs here almost, they pop into here. So we'll get this under here, and then once it's into place, we'll push it in like that. That's in nice and secure. Get the Allen bolt, get your Allen key, screw that in like that, and tighten it up. And then what I like to do is just have a quick little on all the areas where you could have possibly got any .4, just have a little wipe. If you have got anywhere warm water with a bit of soap in, we'll get it off nicely, but just anything really, just to make sure you don't leave it on there. And then you can feel your lovely new bleeded brakes, which aren't spongy. And then just to make sure, we'll just pop this off again, and make sure this is, don't do this too tight though, because it's a disaster if you do, but just make sure that's fine, and that is all good. There's a little bit of liquid there, and that is it. So that is how you bleed, or how I like to bleed the brake. That was the rear brake on a Suzuki sv650s 2006. If you're doing the fronts, same principle. Yep, so just pretty much repeat what you've done on the back, just on the front, and that'll be it. Thanks for watching.